Hello, my friends. Hello, everybody who watching on replay or whatever. I wanted to go live today, especially because this day started with really messy things, but I hope your day started perfectly. I hope you didn't lose anything. I hope you just put together person. And being messy sometimes, it's like pushing me towards my limits. I'm gonna just go live because I want to feel better. And when your day started not as you planned, I want to just simply go to gym. And I went to my bank. I want to just check if my credit card is ready. And I went to gym. Actually, I was already on my way to gym. I wanted to train. I wanted just to, feel better. And all I had to do is just put my money, everything I had, in the inside pocket, of my jacket. But of course, I put it in the most lazy way. I put it right here, in the right pocket of my jacket. And when I was getting into a bus to go to the gym, on my way to the gym, I found out basically that I freaking dropped those, that I withdraw my last money, and I dropped it just because I wasn't careful. That was definitely my fault. And it's just frustrating, I'm not telling you that basically right now it's just the end of the world, but maybe if I didn't withdraw, maybe if I just wanted to pay with my credit card, it would have never happened. You know what I'm talking about? Sometimes you need to just not complicate things I want to just withdraw my money. I want to just cash, I want to pay with cash. And then I just went to the freaking gym because I wanted to pay with cash. And what I did, the minute I got out of that bus, I just, crossed the same road, and I got into another bus to go home. This is what I did. And now I'm live because I want to feel better, and I think this live is what makes me feel better right now. So I didn't prepare anything, special, but I promised you that wherever you're voting for, it's gonna be our next video. This is what I promised, and I'm sticking to this. So right now we are gonna still vote, but I'm gonna make video right now, and you can still change the direction of the video. We still can change the direction of the video while I'm editing it. You can still impact your vote, making changes to my video. So right now let's watch first my last The House of Usher video. And basically, a lot of you already know, a lot of you already watched. Maybe it's not that good at all, but let's listen to what I'm talking about on this video, and then let's see what we can change in my next video, in my new video, and what we can do better, because right now we already have a lot of to put right there in my new video, because we did record last time. So let's go. The TV show Spartacus House of Usher explores an alternate history where Usher, a former slave and lowlife, has ascended to become a lanista, owner of a gladiator school, and Dominus, master. Highborn Roman characters often treat Usher with contempt, viewing him as a subhuman. The arrival of Julius Caesar and his wife Cornelia Cinna marks the total subversion of Usher's authority. Throughout the season, Usher's house laws crumble as Cornelia openly favors and corrupts his slave Messia. Early in the series, Messia reveals romantic feelings for Hilara, which are not returned. As the Vilica, Hilara maintains a position of authority over Messia, often assigning her menial tasks, while positioning herself as Usher's primary companion. Cornelia senses the rift between Hilara and Messia. In a calculated power play, Cornelia claims Messia for more delicate tasks, effectively stripping Hilara of her authority over Messia. This is correct. Seeing Messia, whom she once controlled, elevated by a Roman noblewoman, transforms her rejection into intense jealousy. That's all correct, but before the Romans' arrival, Hilara viewed herself as more than a slave. She believed their bond was built on genuine affection and shared ambition. But now, she realizes that despite his title of Dominus, Usher is just as much a slave to Roman power as she is, and he cannot protect her when it truly... So, at this point, this is already next video. We're making this transition, like this is the end of last video, Roman power as she is. And at this point, it should be already a new video, but what I am gonna do is completely change the direction, because you have listened to all of that, right? What do you think, guys? Why that video was bad? Like, why that wasn't performing good? Even Tell Me Lies new video already outperformed this House of Usher video that was basically dropped even early. So what I think, we just retold everything, every event. That was correct, but there wasn't any like connection. I didn't tell anything regarding my own experience, and there wasn't any like talking to viewers. So now what are we gonna do when it truly matters? Okay, so now we shutting up the last words, and at this point, when you have, we putting first line of my next video with the exact words that I said on last stream, The House of Usher. And it goes like this. When you have that person in your life who can show you the other way where love is prevalent. So, what I'm talking about here, I'm starting right away with when you have that person in your life. I'm talking to you, for example. You have that person or not, it doesn't matter because we just establishing the point. When you have a person who can show you another way where love is prevalent, because slaves like Messia and Hilara, they do not know the other way, right? Because they have no choice. But at least Messia showed, she tried to show Hilara that other way of living her life. That is correct. She tried. So we can put that not just somebody's slave. This is kind of ambiguous because they are slaves, but at this point I'm talking about your own experience because these days there is obviously maybe somewhere still slavery exists, but we're talking about modern relationship. When you're not just slave, like slave of your life, you know what I mean? Even though in Roman Republic, and now we're talking about Roman Republic, it was common that basically a person with lower status is a slave, of course. This is not edited, guys. The voice you can hear is just a long track and it needs to be cut. It's not edited. This is why a lot of pauses between words, but the footage, it's kind of edited. It's in the process. So what I said, a person with lower status, a slave of a dominus, always gonna be downplayed. No matter how hard it is. We're talking about in general how it was in Roman Republic during that period of, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The slavery was just a legal ownership that was legally established that slave is doing everything his owner telling him to. That person would never free himself or herself. That person would never free from that captivity unless that person kills his owner, being scared of that person. So now we're talking about that the way of freeing yourself from captivity while being somebody's slave or servant or somebody's companion with no rights, of course. Like Ilata, you can see she was a woman with a Roman. She had no protection from that Roman. Technically, he was abusing his power. You can see that from her face. But she found that courage. She pushed him to his untimely death. Free himself or herself. That person would never free from that captivity unless that person stopped being scared. So she stopped being scared. This line we can put exactly here when she found that courage and she pushed him out of the balcony or whatever. She pushed him. She stopped being scared. So this is perfectly goes for this part. So what's next? Stopped of that person. Stop being scared of that change. So for Hilara and Messia, for those characters, The only solution was actually to basically to keep doing something in secret behind Usher's back. This is exactly what these two doing in secret, not only Hilara and Messia. So this line, these words I just told, they can easily apply to not only Hilara and Messia, but to Ilada and Tarkon. These two, they actually do in secret everything because they are as well not slaves, but one is a gladiator, Tarkon, and Ilada, again, she was a prostitute, but during Roman Republic, she had almost the same status as slave. It was kind of the same. You know what I'm talking about? It wasn't really work. This is what I'm talking about. She didn't get paid for that. Then basically to go openly and just express their feelings. Okay, so now I'm talking about the way they can basically, what they cannot do. They cannot go, of course, outside together because he had his duties to fight in the arena. She has her owner. Now she killed that owner. So what's next? After she killed that dude, this dude, after she killed this abuser, now she is free. She can go technically with Tarkon, right? It's like, let's imagine somebody is in toxic relationship and then basically that person decided to get rid of that toxic person, abuser, somebody, and now she feels anybody, not during that time, but now anybody can do that. It's technically, it can be as, not only I'm talking about that period, but we can, you know, we all can relate to that. What I'm talking about is that when you finally relieve yourself from captivity, emotional or whatever, your debt, your problems, when you finally relieve yourself, you don't feel that anymore, being trapped. You know what I'm talking about. So now we need to remove all the pauses, all the gaps between dialogues. And while I'm doing this, you can still watch some of the footage from previous video combined with, you know, some footage from new episode as well. Last episode, you can see right now, this is like Usher hallucinating something. So you just watch this and I'm removing the gaps from my dialogue that we recorded before, that we recorded last stream. It's actually easy, you know. I just know a lot of tools right now to just one click remove all the gaps between words, you know, empty spaces. Maybe a year ago or even last year, like December 2025, I would do that manually, you know, like every gap I would just find and remove manually, like wasting a lot of time. But right now, a lot of like tools that I learned to make this process more automatic, not to sitting and wasting time on this. Alright, I'm already done. We already did it. So now we're muting the music on the background and we're coming back to my Premiere Pro. So right now the footage on the left, when she pouring the wine, this is the footage from my Premiere Pro, the editing program. Okay, so this is the process. You cannot see all the process, but you can see the what I'm doing. So right now we trying to see the footage and we trying to make words in the footage match to make it make sense, you know. When you have that person in your life who can show you the other way, where love is prevalent, where you're not just somebody's slave. Even though in Roman Republic, oh my god, I think we did something wrong. Yep. Not did I just remove the gaps from dialogue, I removed all the gaps from footages. Like I made them like chopped, you know. I didn't mean that. So again, I need to redo this. Again, footage for you. And while I'm doing this, you can watch that. You can listen to this music. I didn't plan a live like this, but my morning just actually forced me to do this because otherwise I would feel terrible whole day. You know, when you just stupidly losing something, not even money, but I feel like I was upset not just because I lost last money, just dropped it accidentally, but I was upset that basically I realized that I had to put it somewhere safe, you know. I had to put it somewhere safe. I thought about this, but I didn't do this. This is what upsetting me the most because I knew I had to put it somewhere safe. It's like, you know you need to do that. Otherwise, you will lose it. You will drop it somewhere. And I did drop it, of course. And of course somebody picked it at the bus station. But not the losing money, even last money. So now I'm broke. But the thing that upsetting me the most was that I knew what I'm doing, but I kept doing that. I put that right here instead of more safe pocket when it's unlikely to drop from. So it's always like this, you know what you're doing, but you keep doing that because you're not focused. Maybe some thoughts distracting you, maybe something I was thinking about, something distracting, you know. It's terrible actually, because I was getting into that bus. I was last person to get in because I was on my phone as well. That was a huge mistake. I should have never called a person I called before I got into that bus, because I didn't pay attention to anything, bro. It's like childish fucking actions. Like children getting into bus and first thing they do, like they check in their phones, like they do some business or something important right there, but there is nothing important. They just immediately checking. It's just what they do every time. And I was kind of that child. I don't want to hate myself and fixate on this, but I want to share that with you because it's real. It's what happened, and nobody perfect. So basically anybody can lose something, drop something. Everybody did it, but when you do that in your 18, like 15, when you like really just so young and maybe you're so like you're so easily losing the focus, it's completely different thing. But when you're already an adult and when you're already taking accountability for a lot of things, and when it happens to you, you should be thinking better your actions. Of course, there is nobody to blame. It can happen to anybody. Bro, what I don't understand is like my soft, the program that I'm using for removing all the gaps from dialogue, it's like cutting out all my footage at some points where I don't want. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I'm still learning the whole streaming setup, like OBS, everything. You guys know that basically before we were doing some kind of simple setup, but right now you can see on the screen a lot of things happening simultaneously. It's kind of, maybe it's overwhelming, but at some point I will find the balance maybe to make those not so like, flood the screen with too much pictures, so you don't know where to focus, what to focus. But always the same, like some footage from TV show, me talking, some interaction right here, voting, my last streams. You can see the tape from last 3 streams about House of Usher, 3 streams, and this is 4th. So we did 4 or 5 streams about the House of Usher, and right now we have to make a video because I promised that whoever you vote for in the poll, they are gonna be my next video's mains. They are gonna be my next video's stars, let's say. So Usher and Hilara, again, they are getting those 2 votes. Even though I started this poll again, right now people vote the same way they voted last time. Usher and Hilara. I understand that basically he is the main character, she is the closest character to him. It makes sense to vote for them. It makes a lot of sense. I would do the same probably if I were you. Because maybe the dynamic of valuable, I guess, their relationship is so, like, you know, relatable. Anybody can easily relate to their relationship. Unrequited feelings from one person and her basically boss, her dominance. He is just plain. So she's like upset sitting right there and making love with her co-worker, let's say, another slave, because she frustrated that Usher basically right now is focused on Viridia. So you can relate, anybody can relate to that, right? When somebody does not return feelings, instead that person found somebody or thinking about somebody else, but you basically kind of attracted to that person. You know that situation, right? Anybody ever experienced something like this? When person you like, maybe from your school, maybe from somewhere else, ignores you, or being friendly with you, but there is another person with whom that person is more like of a romantic type of person, you know, but you want him to be with you like this, or her. And so there is no way you can change that person like easily, because feelings, what he or she feels for that person, not for you, it's unique. It's their own experience, and your own experience, you know, basically that it's difficult, but your own experience is completely different from their experience. So nothing you can do, nothing I can do when I feel that, nothing Hilara can do. She can do nothing, absolutely, because if Viridia took a huge part of Usher's heart, if she is there, right there in his heart, it's already done for Viridia, for Hilara. This is why I was kind of confused what we can do about this video, because they kind of done, guys. Usher and Hilara, they are done. What else we can do? What we can do in the video about Usher and Hilara, or with focusing more on their dynamic, if they are already done, if their relationship only exists as professional, like Dominus and his servant. what do you think we can do for a video about Usher and Hilara? I need your thoughts. If you vote for them, you need to at least tell me what you find most appealing in their couple, in that couple, Usher and Hilara. If you vote for them, you need to tell me what you value in them. So I will understand you better, and I will try to make video like prioritizing that you value in Usher and Hilara's relationship. Try to imagine them and what you loved about them, about those two characters. Maybe it's not the same what I loved. When I thinking about Usher and Hilara, first thing I remember was like the beginning of this season, maybe, when he was more like, you know, spending time with them, not with Viridia, with Cornelia, Caesar, or whoever. So when the season basically started, there wasn't anybody to like distract Usher from his like house, from what's happening in his house, talking to his slaves, servants. He was more like talking to his slaves. But then basically everything changed. So what actually we can do to make this next video match that vibe, you know, after everything has changed to Hilara. So right now she is technically just a servant, and Usher completely into Viridia. What we can make about this next video to reflect on that properly? What do you think we can show? A part of Hilara and Usher in their moments. What we can show to make it feel like real, you know? Because we cannot show a lot of Viridia and Usher since they were not voted. They have one vote. Maybe we can show everybody a little, like, but Usher and Hilara like a lot at the beginning, like a huge part at the beginning. And then we're putting every couple like Tarkon, Ilata, Hilara, Messia. No Cornelia, no Caesar anymore. They are gone. Forget about them. They were in my last video, so maybe we put everybody a little after we start talking about the topic. The topic of the video is being a slave during Roman Republic, like centuries ago, and being a slave in your life these days, being a slave, being in slavery of your situation, like emotional or financial slavery. You know what I'm talking about. We talking as if we're not just referring to that period of Roman Republic. We trying to make it relatable to these days. We trying to make it like, you know, we experiencing something like this right now. Because everybody like all of you have something you want get rid of, you want to free yourself from. You don't necessarily feel like a slave, but for example, for me, my big trap that I want to get rid of, that I want to free myself from, basically my negative thoughts towards specific persons. When I think about specific person, it brings me negative thoughts, it brings me aggression. I start doing something and act randomly, driven by those emotions. I act stupidly sometimes. And this is like childhood trauma or something for me. Especially like father figure, not getting love from father figure during childhood, not being paid attention, not being like treated the way you want it. It making me right now, it making me hate not only that person, but it making me hate myself. So I want to free myself from that. I think this is my biggest slavery right now. I feel like I'm a slave of that trauma. I want to stop thinking about this. Do you have any similar experience? Do you have any similar negative thoughts that you want to get rid of? Because I think childhood trauma is the biggest slavery for your entire life. If you're not getting rid of this at some point, it's gonna go forever with you. I don't know how to get rid of this. This is the worst part, because even if I can forgive somebody, you cannot choose your parents, right? You cannot choose. But you can forgive, but forgiving doesn't mean that you forgetting. This is the worst part, because it's still triggering every time I'm letting the trauma or those thoughts get inside my head. Every time I'm letting those thoughts, it makes me aggressive. It makes me like I'm going to do something I'm going to regret. So, driven by those emotions, I'm starting to act randomly, stupidly, and I do something like dropping money at the bus station. I would never normally lose money like this, like, you know, like your cash, it's always somewhere safe. It's put in your pocket. You would never lose it unless you are a child or all your pockets, they are just ripped, you know. Everything is just dropping through them. There is no way you can lose your money like consistently, right? But when you think, do you have any similar experience when you think about something and it's distracting you? It's like slavery, actually. You cannot stop thinking. And it's making you less focused. something. This is what I'm talking about right now, bro. I should have already edited my video at that point, as of now, but I just want to talk. I want to talk about that because it really happened to me this morning. And when I see somebody understands, maybe somebody has similar experience, it would make me feel like I'm not alone, you know, like who making mistakes. So when I see comments, when people feel like they can show their vulnerability, I can show my vulnerability. I'm not embarrassed talking about losing, money or something. I'm not embarrassed. In contrary, I feel more happy talking about this. Because this is real, this is the life. What you see on these streams, sometimes it's kind of filtered and just more about the specific situations from TV shows, maybe. But when I feel like I want to share something so personal, I think those moments, they are the most important moments because they are like my history and something I really experienced. And those events from TV show, they are just a fiction or based on real events. They are still just, you know, art. So what are we gonna do now? Again, coming back to our next video, trying to listen to it. So when Messia, the other way to be a servant of a dominus, when you have that again, we making our next video with a new style. This style, something I did last time with Tell Me Lies video. If you watch that, you know, maybe it seems different. It's kind of not about the characters, but it's kind of I'm talking to you about something that happened to me or something. It's like my own experience. So this approach we are trying to apply right now to every video. The other way, so we starting our videos now, not with what happens in the TV show, but now we're starting our video with what happens, what potentially you have in your life. This is like I'm talking to you, to my viewer. So all my videos, they are gonna be starting with like me talking to you, not talking about this TV show named this and this, characters, they are this and this, and they are doing that and that. When you have that person in your life who can show you the other way, where love is prevalent. So, when you have that person in your life who can show the other way, show you the other way where love is prevalent, it's kind of confusion because we are not mentioning the other way of your life or of what exactly the other way of what. It can be confusing, I guess, for a viewer. So when Messia tried to show Hilara the other way to be a servant, we can start with this actually. Messia tried to show Hilara the other way to be a servant of a dominus. But there is no starting point. I cannot just start like this. So when Messia, we need starting point, like the good starting point. When you have that person in your life who can show you the other way where love is prevalent, this can be a starting point, but it's missing a little meaning of way of what that person can show you where love is prevalent. So it's missing the word another way of your life, of living your life. I missed that because maybe I was talking about something and in that context it sounded naturally, but right now we are just picking the most important words and we're getting rid of water, empty words with no meaning, where you're not just somebody's slave. I don't think we can use that because we are literally talking about slaves. In Roman Republic, it was common that basically a person with lower status, a slave of a dominus, always gonna be downplayed. No matter how hard it is, that person would never free himself or herself. That person would never... We can use this, I guess, because we're talking about slaves, Messia and Hilara. Hilara in general, and her and Asher's relationship. She is his slave. She cannot free herself from that unless she kills him, right? Downplayed. No matter how hard it is, that person would never free himself or herself. That person would never free from that captivity unless... Okay. Person with lower status, a slave republic, it was common that even though in Roman Republic, where you're not just somebody's slave, we can keep everything just for now. What do you think? To make a video make sense, you need to gradually remove all the pointless information that basically obvious or like really pointless. Prevalent, where you're not just somebody's slave. So we're talking about like where love is prevalent and you're not just somebody's slave, and we're showing the actual slaves. Even though in Roman Republic, and then we're making it make sense. We're talking about that in Roman Republic it was like this. It was common that basically a person with lower status, a slave of a dominus, always gonna be downplayed. No matter how hard it is, that person would never free. And this person is Hilara, we're talking about her. She would never free herself, right? So this makes sense. Himself or herself. That person would never free from that captivity unless never free himself or herself. That person would never free from that captivity. What we can make how hard here is that person would never free himself or herself. This enough, just free herself or himself. This thought is complete. That person would never free from that captivity unless that person stopped being scared. Maybe we can put this actually, even though kind of, the feeling of scaring, that not really what makes those slaves being slaves in the first place. They are legally just owned by their owner, Dominus, right? They are not just scared of him. They are his property, legally. Not only feeling of scare, but he just owned him legally. But we are talking about like not only that, but in general, like himself or herself. That person would never free from that captivity unless that person would never free. That person would never free from that. Person would never. That person. Oh, repeating that person. That person. How hard it is. So we're putting that person only once. How hard it is. That person would never free from that captivity unless that person stopped being scared. So we're showing them kissing and we talking at this point, stop being scary. That would make sense because it is brave move to make love with your, with one of the slaves behind your dominus and absent his consent, of course. It is brave. They are not scared of him, at least. They can do that in secret, and they could have still fear doing this because even Asher is not there. They can be still afraid of the punishment or his reaction. So they are brave at this point. Of that person. Stop being scared of that change. So for Hilara and Messia, for those characters, the only solution was actually to basically to keep doing something in secret behind Asher's back. For them basically to go openly and just express their Okay, here I guess we stopped talking about Hilara and Messia. for them basically to go openly and just express their feelings on it's of course. And right here we need to put something about this character. It's of course Ilata, impassable. But for you, and for me, we know that there is nothing actually stopping. Oh, this is a good moment actually. Basically, to go openly and just express their feelings on public, something in secret behind Usher's back. For them, basically, so we can keep this for them, basically, that it was impossible to publicly express their feelings. This is real. This is real. To go openly and just express their feelings on public. For them, basically, to go openly and just express their feelings on public, stopped being scared. For them, that person stopped being scared. For them, basically, doing something in secret behind Usher's back was impassable. But for you, and for me, we know that there is nothing actually stopping us from doing what we want. Sometimes we just slaves of our lives, of our. So I'm going from like being an actual slave during Roman Republic to current days when you are a slave just of your feeling of fear of being judged or something, when you just you know you can do that, but you stop yourself. This is your slavery. This is my slavery. You know what I'm talking about. Of course, impassable. But for you, and for me, for you, but for you, and for me, we know that there is nothing actually stopping us from doing what we want. We can keep it just for now. We can remove this line lately if it doesn't go well with the music, everything, because we are gonna put some music. Oh, of course. Oh, I forgot, guys. We shouldn't be looking here. This is not the footage. This is the footage. Thing actually stopping us from doing what we want. Sometimes we just slaves of our lives, of our work, of our houses, of our lifestyles, of our habits. I feel myself that I'm a slave of work, of our lifestyles, of our habits. I feel myself that I'm a slave of my current situation. I keep this. I want to keep this because I am a slave of my current situation. Our lifestyles, of our habits. I feel myself that I'm a slave of my current situation. I am feeling that. I know I can do something about this. But I don't know. Next move, if it's gonna be what would make me free, finally from my slavery, because I am fucking traumatized person. What I'm trying to do is not just put hands down and not just trying to let the situation control my current situation. Okay, at this point, when I said my current situation, this is enough. I'm not gonna just put a lot of about this in next video, but we can listen and we can pick something about this, about my situation. What I'm trying to do is not just put hands down in. It's like Hilara, it's like Asher and Viridia. They are not trying to put hands down. They know they cannot be together. You know what I'm talking about? It's their slavery. Viridia knows. Her father already decided whom she is gonna be marrying. But Asher, he still fights. He still believes that they have some future. This is their slavery. Put hands down and not just trying to let the situation control me. So you can do the same. There is no key. There is no one just solution. There is no just single thing you need to do. If you feel trapped, if you feel slave of your current situation, maybe you have debt, maybe you have bad relationship, you feel trapped. Oh, I think we can start our video with this. It would make perfect sense, bro. If you feel that, if you feel this, if you feel slave of your current situation, maybe you have debt, maybe you have bad relationship, maybe you have marriage that is like collapsing, you know? Oh my god, I think this is perfect beginning. What do you think? This is the perfect beginning. We're talking about literal slavery and modern type of slavery. In your life, who can show you the other? It's like financial problems, debts, marriages, toxic relationships. Way where love is prevalent, where you're not just. So we're shifting this all and we're putting this at the beginning. And what we have right now, listen. You know, if you have. Listen. We are just making our next video, right? So we're making it together. If you feel trapped, if you feel slave of your current situation, maybe you have debt, maybe you have bad relationship, maybe you have marriage that is like collapsing, you know? When you have that person in your life who can show you the other way, where love is prevalent, where you're not just somebody's slave. Wow, right now it's making perfect sense, bro. It's like consistent and delivers my thoughts I was thinking about last stream when I was recording this. Even though in Roman Republic it was common that basically a person with lower status, a slave of a dominus, always gonna be downplayed. No matter how hard it is, that person would never free from that captivity unless that person stopped being scared. For them basically to... Wow, and right now we show this. She stopped being scared, bro. Scared. Look at her. This is Ilata. She was scared of this man. This bold, fat, Roman who was abusing her, who was basically hurting her, right? She stopped being scared. And she pushed him towards his untimely death. For them, basically, we don't need to immediately talk about something else. We can keep this part like this, just empty words. Absent words, absent commentary. He is just dropping down towards his death. Oops. I think we need a little bit shorten this part, like make it not so long. So he is just falling down. And next part, it could be he is already like there, you know, trying to get out. He's like a rat, trapped. He's like, boom. Or, you know, we can make it even like this. She is pushing him. She just pushed him. She just pushed him. He is falling. We need to use this like when he is already down there, like this. So she pushed him. It looks kind of weird because he's already like down there. Maybe we need to show more like of his fly. Boom. You know? Boom. Like this. A fat Roman fell. And then he's trying to get out. You know, because right now he feels danger. And a woman he was hurting, she feels like this is the moment she is finally freeing herself from that Roman abuser. Oops. And he is already killed by her secret lover Tarkon. Right here. This is her secret lover. Once she pushed that Roman towards his untimely death, she freed herself and she makes it possible to be with Tarkon right now. So next episode we will probably see them together, like really together, not just hiding, sneaking around, you know. Even though there is some beauty in that sneaking around, like their like secrecy is something that I like, but right now he can openly kiss her, or at least he can take her under House of Usher's roof. Usher's roof. At least he can ask Usher to help him with that, I think. Because he is the best fighter. He is the future, maybe champion, who knows? You know what I'm talking about? Usher, he needs to listen to his gladiators. For them basically to... And here Viridia, it's kind of doesn't make any sense. We need maybe remove her from here to go openly and just express their feelings on public. It's of course impossible. I think this whole part is just doesn't make any sense after this. For you. At the same time, it shows what Usher and Viridia they were doing during the arena fights. They actually went downstairs. They tried to kiss, but Usher, he found out that Viridia is gonna marry Pompey. That means basically Usher cannot do anything about that. He cannot go against Pompey. Pompey is just Pompey, you know. And Usher is just Usher. For you and for me, we know that there is nothing actually stopping us from doing what we want. So I think we are removing this whole for you, for me part. Sometimes we just slaves of our lives of, and this is good part. We keep this. Sometimes we just slaves of our work, of our dads, of our life, of our everything, and we're not just actual slaves like them, you know. Sometimes we just slaves of our lives, of our work, of our lifestyles. Oh, that was brutal. Look at this. She actually just lifted a man who just, you know, one of the best gladiators of Usher. She just lifted him like he's nothing. Look at this. First of all, she came back from this almost death. Of course, it looks kind of ridiculous the way she's moving. It's like she's obviously not doing that trick. Sometimes we just slaves of our lives of. Look at this. Our lives of. Our lives of. It looks so unnatural how she is getting up from this position, right, to this. Our lives of our work. Hope it's like something pulling her towards that position, which is definitely doing that. What it's called, like all those tricks in the arena, they look insane, but this trick I think it looks fake. She cannot really get up like this. Look at this. Look at this. The gravity or whatever physic just, it's not allowing you to just easily get up like this. I'm just saying, bro, not trying to like find something out of nothing. Sometimes we just slaves being scared. So we showing here she's not scared anymore. She got rid of this piece of shit. Slaves of our lives, of our work, of our lifestyles. Right here, the Viridia part. Should we remove this completely? What do you think, guys? I feel myself that I'm a slave of my current. Right here, I'm talking about my situation, that I feel a slave of my situation. And to put here Viridia kind of doesn't make any sense. Of our habits. I feel myself that I'm a slave of my current. Our habits, lifestyles, of our habits. Putting here Hilara makes perfect sense because she is a slave. And I'm talking about being a slave. I feel myself that I'm a slave of my current situation. Okay, maybe we keep Viridia part just for now. Maybe we can put some arena. But let's move on. Let's see what I have to say right here. That feeling, only you. Again, I'm talking to the viewer directly. It's like Deadpool, you know. That feeling, only you and nobody else actually knows what to do. But I feel like at least when you have one person, it's not even necessarily to be Sarah. Thank you. If you love what you see on the screen, don't forget to like. But thank you. A friend of that person, or to be a relative, to be. So again, can we use this? That feeling, only you and nobody else actually knows what to do. But I feel like at least when you have one person, it's not even necessarily to be a friend of that person, or to be a relative, to be really close. It's such a stretch to go from just this. I feel myself that I'm a slave of my current situation. So I think this is complete thoughts. I feel I'm a slave of my current situation, and we show the real slaves, right? This is really complete thoughts, and this is a stretch already. It's extra. Feeling, only you and nobody else actually know. It's like I'm a mentor, you know. I'm talking like from the scene, like only you and nobody else, like Tommy Robbins or some type of shit. But I feel like at least when you have one person, it's not even necessarily to be a friend of that person, or to be a relative, to be really close. You need just that connection, you know, emotion. Yeah, this is a good part. You need that connection. This is a good part. You need just that. All before that needs to be removed from here because it's kind of pretentious, you know. I don't want to be Tommy Robbins type of person, like only you, nobody else. Stopped being scared. We already talked that stop being scared is what freeing you from being slave, actual slave, like during Roman Republic, like Ilata, for example. Captivity, unless that person stopped being scared. So she stopped being scared. She pushed her abuser, her dominance, towards his death. We just slaves of, and now we're talking about sometimes we are just slaves of our lives, not actual slaves. You know what I'm talking about? Our lives of, we are like going back and forth to Roman Republic and to current days. Our work of our life. Technically, he is working right there. He is a gladiator. He is your boyfriend's secret lover or whoever, but he is at work. He is fighting to live. He is fighting to his life. He is like surviving. It is his work. This is my work. I'm fighting to survive. Lifestyles of our habits. I feel myself that I'm a slave of my current situation. If only I could share, guys, what exactly this situation is, like my current habits and everything. You need just that connection, you know, emotional maybe. There is kind of no transition right between this part of my current When I'm talking about my current situation, you need just that connection, And here I'm talking about you need that connection, No transition between two thoughts. Situation. You need just that connection, Emotional, maybe that personal connection. So why Hilara and Messia basically living under the same roof, being basically slaves of the same dominance? Maybe it's too soon to talk about the solution, what you need. You need just that connection, Maybe it's too soon to talk about it at this point. Emotional, maybe that personal connection. So why Hilara? Maybe we maybe keep it right here, but we make it muted as for now because it's inconsistently just showing up with no transition into this. We need more consistency, If I started talking about actual slavery, I need to complete the thoughts or make it like styles of our habits. I feel myself that I am a slave of my current situation. I'm talking about modern type of slavery, emotional slavery. This is complete thoughts. And I'm talking about actual slavery. Captivity, unless that person stopped being scared. And this is actual slavery. She got rid of that person who kept her a slave. Also, complete thoughts right here. We found that fear makes you not only actual slave like in the Roman Republic, but it also makes you a slave of your situation, financial, toxic relationship or whatever. Because it's always fear. Fear of unknown, you know what I'm talking about. Because for her, Ilata, right, once she got rid of that man, does she know what her future is right now? No. It's fear of unknown, but at least she's not getting beat by that person. It's already a good part. Being servants and not being able to openly live their lives the way they want. Why this is so like familiar and maybe this is so like reciprocating, this is so really familiar. Because they trapped as any other person in any other situation. Wow, this is good actually. Being servants and not being able to openly live situation lives the way they want. Why this is so like familiar and maybe this is so like reciprocating, lifestyles of our habits. I feel myself that I am a slave of my current situation. Being servants and I need to start marking when I'm talking about Roman period and when I'm talking about myself, like these days, because I can mess the timeline, what I'm talking about. You need just that connection, emotional, maybe being servants and not being able to openly live their lives the way they want. Okay, now I'm talking again about Roman ancient period. Why this is so like familiar and maybe this is so like reciprocating, this is so really familiar. Because they trapped as any other This is so like familiar, and maybe this is so like I repeated it twice. Maybe we don't need this reciprocating, you know. This is so really familiar because they trapped us. Why this is so like really familiar? Why this is so like familiar? This is enough, I guess, for these thoughts to be complete. What the fuck is this noise, bro? This is so like familiar. The fuck is this noise, bro? It's like somebody's shooting. Maybe this is the effect I used in some video. This is so really familiar because they trapped as any other person in any other situation, any like trap, any captivity, any like you know. Why this is so like a lot of words fillers, you know. Why this is so like, this is so like, maybe this is so like. So when I have these fillers, I need to remove them. Why this is so like familiar, and maybe this is so like, this is so really familiar because they trapped. Why this is so like familiar. So this is enough. Why this is so like familiar? This is so really familiar because they trapped as any other person in any other situation, any like any. Why this is so like familiar because they trapped as any other person in any other. Okay, now we need to make footage and words match. We need them match because now they are not matching. You see, I'm talking about one thing and footage is completely different thing. Here is Viridia, and we need to remove Viridia because we're not talking about her. She is a noble woman. She's not a servant, of course. Slave of my current situation. Being servants and not being able to openly. This is so like familiar. So we don't need this being servant and all that stuff. We just muting this and we put in next thoughts right away. Why this is so like familiar and all that stuff. I guess. Footage like making it easier for me to edit, you know. Why this is so like familiar because they trapped as any other person in any other. So again, can we show Viridia and Asher while I'm talking about they trapped? Because Viridia, she is a noble woman, but she is trapped. She is forced to marry a Pompey. She is forced to marry Pompey. She is trapped, right? Technically, we can relate to her even though she's a noble woman. She has power. Not like your father, of course. Why this is so like familiar because they trapped as any other person in any other situation, any like trap, any captivity, any like emotion. She is trapped, right? Her father just dictates whom she's gonna marry. This is a huge trap, emotional trap, any talk. We even can show how she's crying right there when I'm talking about emotional trap. Why this is so like familiar? What is this, bro? I'm a slave of my current. Listen, I'm a slave of my current. So I feel myself that I'm a slave of my current situation. Okay, this footage is kind of mess. She is already turned her head like, and she's doing it again. Our habits. I feel myself that I'm a slave of my current. The point of this footage should be our habits. Showing Hilara immediately after Tarkon, because they are both lower positions. Lifestyles, our habits. I feel myself that I'm a slave of my current situation. Why this is so like familiar? Because they trapped us trap of our lifestyles, of our habits. Should we put maybe fights? Lifestyles of our habits. Or maybe just slaves of our. We can put more fights right here, like this. Slaves of our lives, of our work, of our lifestyles, of our. But here is something. Sometimes we just slaves of our life, of our work, of our lifestyles. It cannot be here because he is in the arena right here, and he is right there already. Inconsistency. He should be here in the arena still, and looking at her and realizing that they are free right now. I feel myself that I'm a slave of my current situation. Why this is so like of our habits. I feel myself that we should put Asher leaving the arena right here. Lifestyles of our habits. I feel myself that I'm a slave of my current situation. Why this is so like familiar? And then he is going downstairs to cheer up Viridia. Her bad news, she's gonna marry a man she doesn't love. She's trapped. Because they trapped as any other person in any other situation. This is a huge mouth moving right here. We need to hide this part. Too much of a talking person. Or maybe not. We're making a video, like a music video. You know what I'm talking about. You know, when I doing music video, there is no like characters doing this. They usually just keep it shut, because this is what makes music video fluent, like flow, you know. Trap. Other person in any other situation, any like trap, any captivity, any like. Maybe we make it about Tarkon and Hilara right away at this point, not wasting time on Viridia and Hilara. Even though they have the biggest future, I guess, in next episodes. Can I change the title during stream? I would like to put some word. What is this, bro? Okay. You know, emotional trap in any toxic relationship, anything. It feels like there is always like this secrecy. For them, it's like being together in secret. Yeah, this is perfect. We're talking about secrecy, and here, Asher and Viridia, they are secretly kind of dating each other, you know. It's like being with a person you would never be able to marry, but you're still hoping that basically at some point that person will kind of become the same position you are, a noble woman and a noble man or something like this, you know. Asher can become some type of, you know, equal position to her. He can basically marry her. Technically, he needs to move up to the position closer to her father, senator. This is the only way, I guess. Or he needs to save her life one more time, maybe. What do you think the only way they can be together? What do you think can make Viridia and Asher end up together in this season? What it could be, like what actually can help them end up together? What he or she needs to do to find a way out of this trap, to stop making her father telling whom she is gonna marry and to choose whom she is gonna marry herself. What next move of Asher can be to make it happen? What do you think, guys? I think your only way to marry him is keep secretly seeing him, of course, not putting hands down. And maybe she needs to kind of put him in her father's good graces. It's like, you know, make him rescue her again and to make her father see that, or make him rescue her father. like a big favor that your father cannot forget, and this way Arthur can make maybe his next move towards his marriage with Viridia. This is how I see that. See, for them it's like being together in secret, sharing their thoughts. Okay. The thought is complete. They are trapped. Your father is deciding for her. Arthur is not able to do anything about this. This thought is complete. So we're moving next. And we're moving forward to next part of this video. I'm gonna get it done by tomorrow, I guess. And we're gonna publish it tomorrow, I guess. As soon as it's done. A lot of like to add, a lot of to improve, of course, but still we already have structure, we already have commentary from my last stream. All we need now is add some music, add some maybe good, really good music matching the vibe of the Roman, you know, period. But I also need some changes, and you cannot see that, but I'm currently looking at the subtitles for my own commentary. I need to get rid of this shit. It's making my project slow. It's like slowing down the process, you know. So I need to fucking remove this shit. Check spelling, no. Oh, I know what I need to do. Ignore transcript. This is what I was looking for. Close. Okay, so next. So what we've done so far. If you feel trapped, if you feel slave of your current situation, maybe you have debt, maybe you have bad relationship, maybe you have marriage that is like collapsing, you know. When you have that person in your life who can show you the other way, where love is prevalent, where you're not just somebody's slave. Even though in Roman Republic it was common that basically a person with lower status, a slave of a dominus, always gonna be downplayed. No matter how hard it is, that person would never free from that captivity unless that person stopped being scared. Let's go. Sometimes we just slaves of our lives, of our work.
Yeah, we are.
Lifestyles, of
We
our
are.
habits. I feel myself that I'm a slave of my current situation. Why
I
this
am,
so
I am.
like familiar? Because they trapped as any other person in any other situation. Any like trap, any captivity, any like, you know, emotional trap, any toxic relationship, anything. It feels like there is always like this secrecy. For them it's like being together in secret, sharing their thoughts. Okay, not perfect, but still kind of flowing, making sense. Ominous, the way they cannot talk about him openly, but they can basically do more and connect better when basically their dominance absent. Like right now, this episode. No, we do not need this, definitely. What we need right now, I put you this footage on your screen. You can see that. While you're doing that, you can also listen to entire commentary left. Let's see. Guys, I'm gonna just leave you for a minute. Just listen to this and be right back. Finally stopped Hilara from being blinded by that, by her feelings for Usher. She finally, for Hilara, finally, everything is so clear. Right now, she sees the whole picture. She sees that Usher always cared about another woman, Viridia. Even though when basically it seemed like Hilara was so loved by Usher, because any intimacy, it's like two bodies connecting, so it's hard to tell it's genuine or not, and for her being like in any closeness with Usher, every time it's even more feels like genuine and real. So what she needs to do right now, and I think it's gonna be useful for anybody, including me, we're all human. Stop that closeness, stop that intimacy, stop any proximity to that person. Only professional, of course. Hilara has no choice, and you have choice. I have choice. But what she can do still, she can stop being intimate with that person or emotionally connected during that intimacy. She needs to treat him as just your customer. It doesn't sound good, but technically he is buying your work. He is buying your services. She is his servant. Once she stops him manipulate the situation, maybe I think she can be just in that professional relationship. It's difficult, of course. I'm so easily getting like emotionally connected to person I'm attracted to. Let's say if I see somebody and sometimes if I feel like I'm attracted to that person, I can easily get the wrong message. I can get the wrong impression from that person. I can basically feel like maybe it's mutual, but that person can be sometimes so just, friendly or something, and sometimes it feels even like that person really just returning you your feelings. But what actually happens in reality, like I think in the first place, if I stop basically looking for any possible connection, any possible person I'm attracted to, if I stop seeing that person from that perspective of, emotional connection, if I stop looking for that emotional connection, if I stop looking for that reassurance or whatever, even being a slave in her situation can be way more easier if she stops looking for that. Because look at Messia. She actually treats Usher just as her customer. The owner of the villa, technically he is the owner of the villa. He has all the rights to do whatever he wants, but if he feels like both Hilara and Messia treat him just as their dominance and they are not trying to basically find that emotional connection, if he feels that, he will basically stop or even consider something like better positions for them, or maybe cut them a little break, like I think basically in the first place Hilara needs to, of course, to stop doing that, to stop pursuing that. And even if she doesn't find anybody, even if she's gonna be solo in this series, and in your situation, also in my situation, I know if I'm gonna end up single in my 30s, let's say, and I'm not gonna find anybody till I figure out my career, till I figure out my stuff, like all my bills, all my financial situation. If I'm not gonna find anybody till that point, till I'm figuring all out, but if I'm doing that and prioritizing myself, not getting involved in situation with people who is just manipulating me and not returning feelings, if I'm single and prioritizing myself and growing as a person, and finally I find somebody who is just not perfect, but that person exists, that person is there, but right now maybe I'm not ready for that person, maybe that person is not ready for me, maybe we are not just in the right place at the right time, maybe we are not just running into each other yet. Even in my small town, I guess that person exists. Even out of those 50,000 people in my town, I guess at least one person exists who is gonna be there once I'm ready, you know what I'm talking about. But if I stop right now focusing on this change, on this figuring out my content, looking for better, looking for something before I complete this transition, before I figure it all out, looking for something out there, looking for something, unattainable, looking for a relationship, looking for something basically before I figured all this out, it's gonna be mess, I guess. It's gonna be even more messing than ever. If you're not completely ready, it will manifest in different situations because you didn't complete the change, because you didn't decide stop being like your previous version, that the change wasn't really done, fully done. And at some point it will manifest in some situations, for example, like old habits or something, they will return at some point because you never left them, you never actually left them behind. Old habits, old people who you tried to forget, to move on from, they will return and use that moment when you get weak, when you get your bad time, because there is always good time, bad time, and it's always fluctuating, and when you get your bad time, I hope you never get your bad time, I hope you always get your good time, your best moments of your life. But for that person to never appear, that person who not supposed to be with you, this change, I guess, it has to be fully completed. Of course, there is always exceptions. There is people who born to be with somebody, or born to be somebody you would never become, but it's completely different story. Like Usher, he wasn't really born, for example, he wasn't born a dominus, he wasn't born a owner of a ludus, a gladiator school. Usher was born a slave, apparently. From what I've heard, he was a former slave, and before this season even started, he had completely different life, and in another timeline he was a slave, he was fighting to live, apparently a gladiator or something. After he was ascended to become a lanista, lanista is like a master, lanista is like a master, a teacher for gladiators, an owner of gladiator school, and in that school he is teaching those how to fight. but he wasn't born to be that Lannister. He was given that chance because he killed another person in another timeline, and in this timeline he was gifted with this ludus and everything he has right now. It was gifted to him. I don't think in reality anybody getting anything granted like this, gifted like this, just passed to you. In reality, of course, only those who born to be like this, to be rich, to be in the better positions than average person, only them from the beginning, they already know what they are gonna be like, what they are gonna live their lives like, because they already have everything decided, you know. But what I love about like characters from TV shows, when they change, when they trying to basically find a way out of situations like captivity, enslavement, and for Tarquin and Ilara, that was the only way actually to get out of this together, because Tarquin basically said if he becomes a champion, they can live somewhere, maybe they can get freedom. At least Tarquin, he will get his freedom. He will no longer be just Asher's property, his belonging. He can basically take Ilata somewhere far away from all this Roman bullshit, like people who just, you know, trying to hurt her. For Tarquin, basically the price of the freedom is clean, is obvious. It's just 100%. It's just winning the whole tournament, winning the whole Primus. It's like, you know, the final fights of the arena, the Ludi Apollinaris tournament, the gladiator tournament. This tournament basically, it gives you your freedom. From what I understood, it gives you your freedom if you're winning this tournament. So there is clear future for Tarquin by doing this tournament. He gets two things: his freedom and his woman, and they already got rid of that man who was in between. No more secrecy, I guess. I would like to see them openly, like making out or doing something more than just attending this arena, literally just going somewhere, doing something. So still Hilara and Asher have 3 votes. If they have 3 votes by the end of the stream, I'm gonna need to basically adapt my next video for these 2. I'm gonna basically make like my own emotional text, not scripted, but I'm gonna need to think about these 2, imagine them, and I'm gonna talk about something related to their experience. So let's say if you like their experience more than Tarquin and Ilara's experience, then basically then 3 votes enough, I guess. But if you really like Tarquin and Ilara's experience more, if you like that secrecy, that, you know, intense relationship, when every intimacy, every moment, every private moment, it's like your last moment, you know, literally. They do not know what happens next. If you like that dynamic more, if you like this specific character, Ilara, if you like the dynamic in her basically way, her storyline, in episode 8 was so good. She, like, you know, make this man suffer who suffered her before. She was basically doing that not only for herself, but she did it to basically to finally get together with Tarquin, of course. So if you like this dynamic more than just Dominus and servant Hilara's dynamic, because there is just so obvious. One person is just holding unrequited feelings, another person is just abusing his power sometimes. At least he is not basically volatile towards women, And in Ilata and Tarkon, basically in their situation, it's secrecy. It's like more thrilling. It's more unpredictable, unexpected. So the video is more gonna be like me talking about something sensitive, super like personal maybe, and showing them like as example of that secrecy, you know. If you like that vibe more, if you like that dark, like maybe horror vibe a little, because that fight was really truly like a horror movie when they basically split that bald fat man head. They actually just, you know, sliced his head. I cannot show that moment, but we can use this aspect of him being a fighter and her being just audience, and at some point she stopped just being an audience and she actually impacted the whole fight, because once she dropped that man out of that, you know, he basically became a part of this fight, like meat fodder, meat for those two. So he knew what she was doing, of course, but we can actually play a lot with this footage. We can use a lot of your appearances, like your face, to show the consequences of your captivity, of being a slave to that Roman. We can show your experience, and it's obviously like, you know, somebody can relate to, maybe not necessarily like being treated like this, but again, emotional trap and your literal physical trap, like being physically trapped with this man. It's kind of, sometimes it's almost the same. So we can use this arena scene, of course, and not necessarily talk about arena in next video. If by the end of this stream Tarkon and Ilata, couple number 4, if they get at least 4 or 5 votes, I guess the video is gonna be completely different from if Hilara and Asher get more votes. The video is gonna be completely different. The vibe, the story is gonna be completely different. Not because I'm gonna talk about different characters, because I'm gonna tune into completely different vibe from those two, because they vibing so differently from Asher and Hilara, of course. And because he ended up on this strategy, losing his father or his close friend or whoever, if it's his father, it's even more terrible, of course. But because he ended up a winner of his fight and his father, that person ended up dead, it's even more emotionally impactful, you know, for next video. If this is gonna be Tarkon and Ilata, this emotional impact, it's gonna be like there, of course. I don't think Asher and Hilara, they can make me that emotional while I'm talking about them. But when I see somebody like a beautiful woman getting freed from captivity, getting together with a man she loves, getting together with another beautiful person. When I see two beautiful people together, when I see them finally surviving this, and him surviving this deadly fight, and her surviving for abuser and getting rid of captivity, when I see this, when I feel like, oh, this is so similar, I maybe sometimes I let some people treat me like this, maybe. Okay. Sometimes I felt maybe like, stop. I don't know what I was talking about while I was missing, but I think as we did the beginning for our video, so right now we are getting back to last part. What we stopped on was this. So let's watch a little bit beginning. If you feel trapped, if you feel slave of your current situation, I'm talking about like not literal but metaphor of being a slave as your, you know, financial or like any problem can make you slave of the situation. So then we move in to some actual slavery to show this comparison to the Roman Republic, how it was during that time. Never free from that captivity unless the person stopped being scared. Iolada, a character who basically freed herself from that captivity because she pushed that man who basically was an owner of her, literally, to his death. She basically pushed him and he got killed during that fight in the arena. Now we move into the part where basically when she arrives to Asher's villa to reunite with her secret lover. Now he is not even her secret lover because they can reunite outside, easily, emotional trap without hiding, So this part, it doesn't matter in what order it happens in TV show. We are trying to kind of just make a video and be creative, you know what I'm talking about. Relationship. It feels like there is all, even though they were still hiding at this point, we make it like they are not like this. And then after them, secrecy. For them, it's like being Asher and Viridia. They are kind of hiding because Viridia is doing everything behind her parents' back. She is not going to tell them she is in love with Asher, so they are kind of secrecy. For them, it's like being together in secret, sharing their... She, just crying because she agreed to marry Pompey. She did that for the Republic, you know what I'm talking about. She's not in love with that Pompey. She just agreed because her father asked. This is like the end. Your thoughts. In secret, sharing their thoughts. For them, it's like being like this secrecy. It feels like there is always like this secrecy for them. Okay, so next. Finally stopped Hilara from being blinded by that, by her feelings for Asher. She finally, for Hilara, finally everything is so clear. Right now she sees the whole picture. She sees that Asher always cared about another woman, Viridia. Even though when basically it seemed like Hilara was so loved by Asher, because any intimacy, it's like, for Hilara, finally everything is so clear. Right now she sees the whole picture. She sees that her feelings for Asher. Can we use this part, bro? I'm talking about Hilara and her unrequired feelings for Asher. Finally stopped Hilara from being blinded by that, by her feelings for Asher. She finally, for Hilara, finally everything is so clear. Right now she sees the whole picture. She sees that Asher always cared about another woman, Viridia. Even though when, for Hilara, finally everything is so clear. Right now finally everything is so clear. Right now she sees the whole picture. She sees that Asher always cared about another woman, Viridia, even though when basically it seemed like Hilara was so loved by us, even though when basically about another woman, Viridia. Okay, we're using this part definitely because right here we're talking about Viridia and Asher. Here we go. It's starting actually somewhere early here of our habits. I feel myself that I'm a slave of. So I think we should put it. Why does it so? Here. It's so of our habits. I feel myself that I'm a slave of my current situation. Why does it so like? We need to put this whole part, I guess, here. Later. Here. Finally, everything is so clear. So what it would look like if we put it early. Like this secrecy for Hilara, finally everything is so clear right now. She sees the whole picture. She sees that Asher always cared about another woman, Viridia. Of our lives, of our work, of our lifestyles, of our habits. I feel myself that I'm a slave of my. Why does it so like familiar? Because they are the person in any other situation. All right. Our life, our habits. I feel myself that I'm a slave of my current situation. Why does? Okay, let's put it right there. Immediately after this. Of our kind of doesn't make sense because those two fights they happened not like right away, but of course we can show this lifestyles of our habits. I feel myself and then this of my current situation and then this. Why does it so like familiar? Because they trapped as any other person in any other situation. And they trapped, literally they are trapped because they cannot be together. Other situation. Any like trap, any captivity, any like, you know, emotional trap. Here probably we should show something else. Or we need to remove these words about any like trap, any captivity, any like, you know, emotional trap, any toxic relationship, anything. It feels like there is always like this secrecy, emotional trap, any toxic relationship. Maybe we need just this emotional trap and toxic relationship to mention other situation. Any like trap, any. This would be enough, I guess, to make this comparison to actual slavery, physical trap, like being a slave, and to use it as a metaphor just to express the emotional trap, like the one that you feel like when you cannot just, you know, do something because of fear or something, like in any other situation. Emotional trap, any. We will make some changes to footage because it's kind of chopped, you know. Emotional trap, any toxic. But right now, this is just the project in general. What next video would be like. You can still, guys, who is watching, you can still see the poll in the chat. Why this is here? Why pictures on the screen with numbers 1, 1, 4, 1? Asher and Hilaro got 4 because they got the most voted from viewers. This is what happened. And currently I'm trying to adapt my next video to this couple, but I can show others as well. So this is why on the screen everybody, but to make them priority, we need just some more time off stream. I'm not gonna show everything, of course. Any toxic relationship, anything. It feels like there is always like this secrecy. This is secrecy. This footage pretty much matching the commentary. They are seeing each other in secrecy. Finally, everything is so clear. But here I'm talking about Hilara, so it's kind of doesn't make sense. We need to right here, right there, like this. It feels like there is always like this secrecy. She like saw them going together downstairs, and then hear her reaction that they are not coming back. It doesn't like, it means that basically they either talking or doing more than that. So she's upset. And there I'm talking about her realization. For Hilara, finally everything is so clear right now. She sees the whole picture. She sees that Asher always cared about another woman. Okay, we can bring more of Hilara again. The whole picture. She sees the thing is so clear right now. She sees the whole picture. She sees that she's like keep turning her head in hope maybe Asher is just went to piss or something. Maybe he's coming back, you know what I'm talking about. But he is not coming back anytime soon. Everything is finally everything is so clear. We don't need a lot of Viridia right here. We need maybe just Asher. Asher, yeah. The whole picture. She sees that Asher always cared about another. Whole picture. She sees that Asher. Here we need to show Asher. Yeah. Asher. Right now, she sees the whole picture. Okay, here Asher. Yeah. Asher always cared about another woman, Viridia. And here Viridia, we're talking about Viridia. And Asher, yeah. So Asher about another woman, Viridia. And Viridia. And her crying. So what would match this moment perfectly? I should be talking about something like them not being able to be together or something like related to this trap. even though when basically it seemed like Hilara was so loved by Usher because any intimacy. Okay, I'm not talking about this. And for her being like in any closeness with Usher, every time it's even more feels like genuine and real. So what she needs to do right now, and I think it's gonna be useful for anybody, including me, we're all human. Stop that closeness, stop that intimacy, stop any proximity to that person. Only professional, of course. Hilara has no choice, and you have choice. You have, I have, what I do still. She can stop being intimate with that person or emotionally connected during that intimacy. She needs to treat him as just your customer. It doesn't sound good, but technically he is buying your work. He is buying services. She is his servant. Once she stops him manipulate the situation, maybe I think she can be just in that professional relationship. It's difficult, of course. I'm so easily getting like emotionally connected to person I'm attracted to. I am. If I see somebody and sometimes if I feel like I'm attracted to that person, I can easily get the wrong message. I can get the wrong impression from that person. I can basically feel like maybe it's mutual, but that person can be sometimes so just, friendly or something. And sometimes okay, a lot of already with Usher, every time it's even more feels like genuine. So what we need to pick just a part of it, not all this. It's like two bodies connecting, so it's hard to tell it's genuine or not. And for her being like in any closeness with Usher, so we start from here, for her being in any closeness with Usher, and we picking all this moment till this comparison to my again experience, right? Manipulate the situation, maybe I think she can be just in that professional relationship. It's difficult, of course. I'm so easily getting like emotionally connected to person I'm attracted to. Yeah. If I see somebody and sometimes if I feel like I'm attracted to that person, I can easily get the wrong message. I can get the person I'm attracted to. I'm so easily getting like emotionally connected to that person. I can basically feel like maybe it's mutual, but that person can be sometimes so just, friendly or something. Okay. So we're picking all this part till friendly or something and putting this right after where I was talking about Hilara's experience with Usher. Yeah. But Viridia. And for her being like in any closeness with Usher, every time it's even more feels like genuine and real. So what she needs to do right now, I let my vocals carry me. It's hard to tell it's genuine or not because any intimacy, it's two bodies. It's hard. Hilara was so, even though when basically it seemed like Hilara was so loved by Usher. This is a good line. We picking this definitely. She seemed loved by him. Because it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell it's genuine or not. It wasn't genuine. It was not genuine. Of course not. But at some point, it was hard to tell because Usher gave ambiguous like messages when he asked you to call him Usher, even though he was under that opium, he still asked you something she took wrong. Ambiguous messages, requests. Viridia. It seemed like Hilara was so loved by Usher that Usher always cared about another woman, Viridia. It seemed like Hilara. Here we need more footage of Hilara and Usher. We need just them together. What we can put here? Current situation. Maybe you have dead, maybe you have bad. We need actually all this footage with Hilara and Usher right there. Right here. This is what I think. So there is empty space. We're moving Usher and Hilara right here. And then we will need to put something instead of that in the beginning. A person with lower status, just somebody's slave. Even though in Roman Republic it was common that basically a person with lower status, a slave of a dominus, always gonna be downplayed. We need all this moved to the end. It's all about Usher, it's all about Hilara and Messia. If you feel trapped, if you feel... Yeah. So guys, what we are doing, we're editing the video and we're trying to kind of make it about Messia, about Hilara and Usher. It seemed like Hilara was so loved by Usher. It's hard to tell it's genuine or not, you know. And for her being like in any closeness with Usher, here we go, her closeness even more feels like genuine and real. So what she needs to do right now, and I think it's gonna be useful for anybody, including me, we're all human. Stop that closeness, stop that intimacy, stop any proximity to that person. Alright, too much. Too much about that. Maybe we need to talk less about all that stuff, bro. And more about emotional slavery, not physical. About another woman reader. It seemed like Hilara was so loved by Usher. It's hard to tell. Scared about another woman, Viridia. It seemed like she did not take up any toxic relationship, anything. It feels like there is always like this secrecy. For Hilara, finally, everything is so clear. Right now, she sees the whole picture. She sees that Usher always cared about another woman. Everything so clear. Right now, she sees the whole picture. She sees that Usher always cared about another woman, Viridia. It seemed like Hilara was so loved. Okay, I know. What we gonna do here? We need to put him walking right after this. Cared about another woman, Viridia. It seemed like Hilara was so loved by Usher. Or maybe not, I don't know at this point. She sees that Usher always cared about another woman, Viridia. It seemed like Hilara was so loved by Usher. it's hard to tell it's genuine or not, you know. And for her being like in any closeness with Usher, every time it's even more. Okay. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just keep it like this, and then we're gonna find another start, another beginning. But I think here we're done with this. As of now, nothing I want to change, because a lot of footage from TV show that I need to pick later. Now we just saving this, bro. You still can vote. You still can do your vote for your favorite character. It's still viable. It's still changed. It's still making changes for the numbers. You see number 4, number 1, 1, 1. It is the current score for each couple, with Usher and Hilara having the most vote. But right now we are going to play a little game, I guess. I was hoping that I would never play games, like video games, on streams, because I wanted just do that off stream. But I think if it's not lagging this time, we can do that. If it starts lagging right away, we stop immediately. I hope. We turn off maybe all the sound from game, so it will not like making noises.
New notification. New PS5.
No.
Welcome back to PlayStation.
Okay, okay, bro.
Controller. Elias series. Item. Press cross to select.
Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up.
2 of 2.
Shut up.
Button die.
If it lags even once, bro, I stop doing this. Because this is not like enjoying. It's really stressful shit. If it lags, we stop doing this. Alright? Remote pair. Okay. Please connect. It is connected. So right now we are connected, and we need to, what we need to do, here. Why it's not showing on the screen? What's wrong, bro? Okay. Is it showing? No. What's wrong? What's wrong? Maybe this? No. It keeps challenging me, bro. My OBS. Okay, now it's showing right here. This is it. Now we need to adapt this window just to perfectly fit into this gap. Like this. Yeah. Bro. Okay. Not perfectly, but still. Like this. Like, oh my god. Oh my god, everybody. Stop lag, please. Every time I want to move something, everything moves, bro. It's like obvious, sometimes so annoying. All the time, I guess it's annoying. But there is no like better app than OBS for a streamer, I guess. So controller now not connected. So we completed this segment talking about TV show, talking about how I lost my money, how I dropped it on my way to gym at the bus station. At a bus station, there is no, like people who would like see and tell me, you drop your money, man, pick it, you just drop your money. I want to get into a bus and I didn't pay attention, so I lost like my last and only money I had. This is how my morning started, bro. Fucking terrible. And I'm here right now. I wanna play a little. It's not making me feel better, but at least it's kind of clearing or making me not think about that losing money situation. I don't want to let it go, bro, at this point. I know I'm broke because of that stupid situation, but I want to move on from that. I guess everybody should move on from any like losing situation, because the most terrible is being like consciously doing that, like that you can basically drop your money if you not put it somewhere like safe. This is the most terrible part, when you're consciously doing that and you know that basically you can passively lose that because you just put it somewhere where you better not, and you just put it there and you dropped it and you already lost it and you're just sitting and like realizing, damn, I knew, but okay. You already lost, so it's gone, bro. It's like betting on sport, you just made your bet, you lost, so you moving on, right? There is no way you can get your money back unless you're spending more betting. This is why betting is just addictive. You want more. So we checking if the game is not lagging. If it's not lagging, we keep playing. If it lags like yesterday or the other day, I guess we quitting immediately. the ping, you see my ping is 104, right? 99. It's a normal ping for Europe region. I'm in the Central Asia. It's like, you know, so far from servers. This is why my ping is 100 or something. But I watched like tournament yesterday. They have all the same ping, like 100 something. So I guess like even big players, professional, I'm just here to have fun. They, even them have like worse ping, you know. It's weird to play with no sounds, actually. But if I turn sound on, it would be like this. Just listen. It would make some robotic noise, like, you know, buzzing or something. If you're watching, I see you watching. Let me know if it's making this stupid noise like robotic buzzing. Like, does it make noise like robotic noise? The sound from the game.
Wow, 4 in a row.
The power of the moon.
Because for me it's perfect. But when I listen to it on the repeat, I hear the stupid noise, robotic.
Ahead, I found them.
When I check my record after the stream, it's like robotic buzzing or some type shit.
Cause you never rest.
Double KO.
One for Steven, one for Gene, one for me. The moon haunts you.
Wow, 4 in a row. It's amazing. 6 in a row.
If it's buzzing, if it's making noise, type something like number 1 in the chat.
Vengeance is served.
Don't be scared, type number 1 if it's making noise for you. I guess it does making noise, bro. It did yesterday. So I guess we just not using the sound from the game. But I can hear it, but you cannot. Okay, I guess it's not lagging at least. So we're safe to start a match just to see if it's lagging in there. If it's lagging there, it means that basically we throwing game for another players, like from my team. We making them lose. It's not good, really. It's like something I hate about the video games, when somebody just throwing and you cannot do anything. You just need to just stay there because, you know, you already started. And this is the worst part about competitive games or any game, even in sport, in like soccer. one player is just throwing the whole match because he is not in a perfect form, he is not perfectly trained or something, and he needs to be substituted, like gone. He needs to be gone and replaced. This is the same, it works the same, but you cannot replace here because once you got a team, you cannot replace just one player. You know what I'm talking about. It's like you already know you're probably losing, but you keep doing this because there's no way to quit. And sometimes I see that basically the mentality in like video games is the same mentality that basically people have in their real life. It's if they throwing games, video games, intentionally, if they making other players lose, they do the same stuff in the real life. They like stabbing you in your back in real life. Given chance, you know, they will stab you like some type of shit. Like it's telling a lot about personality, I guess, the way you playing. So this is why I'm never enjoy being like in a bad mood and doing something that takes you, you know, like communication or team effort. This is like team effort. You need to be a part of team. And when you not in a good mood, when you just started your day on the wrong foot, it will go like this. But you can, at least you can stop, you know, thinking about this. Because, for example, I started my morning and I started it with losing money. But I'm going to fucking forget about this because right now I'm playing, bro. It's fucking stupid, right? But maybe we can, maybe when you lost something, normally you have to find something more. You find more when you looking for that, right? When you lost money, you can earn more if you try. But maybe it's for good. Maybe you lost it because something bigger waiting for you, something more, something that basically killed strange, bro. I'm holding. Oh fuck, I missed. Terrible. Bitch, let me go, bitch. Killed Thor. One shot, bro. Okay, nice. Blade dead. Oh fuck. Not me, bro. Not me. Not me. Thank you. Oh fuck, I'm dead. I'm ulting. Bro, what the fuck is going on, bro? Why Blade fucking chasing me like this, bro? Oh. I'm dead. No? Okay. Uh-oh. Bro, we can win this easily. I need one ult. Somebody just TP'd the portal. Fuck you, bro. He is solo pushing me, like, what the fuck? Instead of capturing the point, he's solo pushing me, bro. What the fuck? I'm probably using angle. Shit. Killed. Bucky on the top. Bro, again, Blade, fucking idiot. Oh. I guess I'm even using like very angle, like far from them, to make it hard for them to fucking chase me, especially Blade, bro. He's fucking annoying, bro. Killed somebody. I'm being chased. Bro. I have my ult soon. How he survived, bro? What the fuck? Come here, come here. Eight. Oh my god, I dropped. Bro, today it's way better. It's not lagging at all. Like, what? Damn. No, 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 dance. No. Damn. Bro, what the fuck is she doing? I guess I'm shooting them through the waterfall, like this. She's chasing me again. I'm ulting, bro. Fuck you, bro. Shit. What the fuck, bro? the fuck? Bro. Bro, keep me alive, bro. Oh my god. Now we lost it. Nobody on point, bro. So since now we are attacking, we need some type of, I don't know, shooting vanguards like this. What? Bro, what? What? Bro, what? Bro. How I'm not second best player, bro, with all the kills I did. Fucking stupid. So we avoid here, of course, this is ridiculous. Throwing him report throwing I guess I avoid everybody from this team, bro. Even Spider-Man. We only have Venom on Vanguard. Bro, what the fuck is going on? Get it done, get it done, get it done, get it done, get it done. Bro, this music is so like vibing with Deadpool, I guess. What the fuck? Where am I, bro? What the fuck, bro? What is going on? Heal me, heal me! Oh my god, thank you, bro. Spit me out, spit me out. Damn. Easy. More easy than editing, bro. Editing videos more challenging than this shit. Sometimes making videos sometimes can be really difficult. So this is why I'm switching to something different, you know, to rest from that. This song is so good. I never used it in videos, bro. Like, what? Yeah, him and Hela. Him and Hela. Ban Hela as well. No, we need Gambit, bro. Over invisible. Fuck yeah. And we need Loki. Where is he, bro? Where's Loki? Where's Loki? Here we go. We need Loki. Bro, what? We need Loki instead of invisible. bitch. Bro, we're teleporting. Right now. No, we need to teleport, bro. What the fuck are you doing? Bro, what? Why you stop fucking idiot, bro? You surrendering or you winning, bro? What the fuck are you doing? What? One night is terrible for the map. Bro, what the Bro, what? He killed nobody with his fucking ult. Throw me, bro. Fucking. What? Throw me, bro. Bro, this is so fucking annoying. What am I supposed to do, bro? Why are we playing the rocket, bro? And the freaking triple support if we cannot do anything. Cannot kill anything. I guess rocket was not that